So when we talk about the data group system, it's a property schema. It's a hierarchy of information where we define an object as a type. We then have properties that are relevant to that object type. And we can use those properties to report, to investigate the model, to generate quantities, etc. So there's a core concept I just want to refresh everybody. We have things called catalog types, and you can see these in the catalog editor. And essentially, they hold a collection of things that are similar in nature. So there is a certain common sense logic to that. Those objects perform roughly the same function. They carry the same property definitions. They're quite clearly defined. And what you may not understand is all of the objects in that catalog will be placed using the same tool. Okay, so there is a relationship between the data group system, the catalog type, and the tools that you use. So a catalog, you can define when a catalog appears in the list of objects. When you go to place wall command, the drop-down list appears. Is all tied back to the catalog type, right? So when you're looking at catalog types, okay, we have inbuilt into our system a standalone application called the catalog editor. And what you can do is you can use the show catalog type command. And what that will allow me to do is see a list of the properties on a particular catalog, what type of information that catalog type carries. And I can do things like change those catalog lists and change those properties. And I have control over that. But there are some things that you must bear in mind, okay? And we'll talk about those as we go along. So it is a powerful tool. It does require knowledge. It's not suitable for ad hoc changing, okay? I'm going to say that from quite plainly, okay? It's a powerful system, but it has to be managed. We don't want every user on a project creating properties, editing properties, and removing properties. That's just a recipe for project confusion and project frustration. Don't do that. Give yourselves or set yourselves a champion. Appoint somebody as a champion within your project and point them as the administrator of your data group system to make sure that everything is properly set up as early as possible. Look at your BIM execution plans, understand the information, requirements that you need to deliver, create those property definitions, create those catalog types, and control it in a deliberate manner. Within each catalog type, we have what we call a catalog item. And that's an individual object or an individual definition. And when you create that item type, it inherits the properties assigned to the catalog type. And that list of properties have themselves different characteristics. In some of those properties, you want them to be fixed and not editable. So you create the definition, you apply a value to your property. But once you've done that, you don't want users editing those in the actual files themselves. And there's a very good reason for that. There is a concept in building information modeling and even in data management of what we call type information and item information. Type information is those areas where you have a very precise piece of information about an object that should not change. It must be that value. So to give you an example, if I create a wall definition that says this is a 12-inch or a 300 millimeter wall, and I use that piece of information in the name of the object, I need to fix that property so that nobody can edit it. Otherwise, I get a data mismatch. I get an object that is, wall 300 millimeters or wall 12 inches in my model. But if I actually query it, I actually find out that it's 18 inches or 450 mil thick. We want to avoid errors like that because it leads to project frustration and errors, and those can be costly. When we take one of those catalog items and we place them into a file, it becomes an instance of that catalog item. Now, the fixed properties will remain fixed, but other items like the length of the wall or the height of the wall, if they are editable properties, they will vary according to how you've actually placed that object. Okay. And so they are specific to that instance. So things like the length of a wall is an instance property because it will vary according to how you've designed the wall. Okay. And what you need to do is make sure that you can control that information. Okay. And we have our schedules tool that allows us to see instances in the model, to see them as a table, but to then edit those properties to correct any errors in terms of properties that we can edit and that need to be either standardized or fixed. I would be slightly careful about trying to edit values because you may not sort of geometric or properties, because you may not understand the impact of editing a value in a table without paying attention to what's happening in the model. But there are those capabilities as well. And like I said, when you look at the catalog editor, you can see here, it's very easy to see at a glance which properties are editable, which properties are actually hidden. You can actually hide properties from the interface. If a property is non-editable, either in the schedules window or the placement dialog boxes, those properties will be grayed and you can't edit them. So,
if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.